For a program to be useful, it usually needs to communicate with the outside world by obtaining input data from the user and displaying result data back to the user. In this tutorial, you'll learn about Python input and output. In Python, we use the input function to ask the user for input. As a parameter, we input the text we want to display to the user. Once the user presses enter, the input value is returned. We typically store user input in a variable so that we can use the information in our program.
Let's practice a simple program to see how user input works. This program will prompt the user to enter their name and age. It then greets the user by printing a message that includes the provided name and age. Name input, please enter your name, asks the user to input their name and stores it in the variable name. Age input, please enter your age, asks the user to input their age and stores it in the variable age. Printf hello name. You are age years old displays a greeting message that includes the user's name and age. What do you notice about the type of value input returns? You should have noted that input returns the user input as a string, even if the user inputs a number. This can cause complications if you're wanting to do any calculating with the number. Luckily, you can easily convert strings to integers in Python by using the int function. This is also known as casting. What is casting in programming? Casting is the process of converting the value of one type into the value of another. In some cases, methods or concatenations are only possible when a value is converted from one type to another. For example, a programmer wants to print their mailing address to the console, but has stored their zip code in an int value. This program will result in a type error must be string, not integer, because the values passed to the print statement must be of type string. In order to print the value of zip code will need to be converted into a string-type value. Luckily, converting primitive data types from one type to another is fairly simple in Python. To do so, the value simply needs to be passed through a constructor function. In order to get the previous program to work, the zip code variable needs to be passed through the string constructor function. String zip code can also be stored in another variable and used later in the program. Let's practice data type conversion or casting in Python. We'll demonstrate type casting, also known as data type conversion, in Python. In this example, I'll show you how to convert between different data types, such as from strings to integers and floats, and vice versa. Input as strings, the program first takes two inputs from the user, which are stored as strings. In these lines of codes we are doing casting to integers. The input strings are converted to integers using the int function. Let's write code for casting to floats. The input strings are also converted to floats using the float function. Arithmetic operations. The program performs the addition operation on both integer and float values. Displaying results finally, the program prints the results of the additions. This example demonstrates how to use typecasting to convert user input from strings to integers and floats, allowing for arithmetic operations on the input values. The program prompts the user to enter their current age. It calculates what the user's age will be in 10 years by adding 10 to the entered age. Finally, it prints out a message informing the user of their age 10 years from now. This simple program demonstrates basic user input handling, integer conversion, arithmetic operations, and formatted string output in Python. In this program, we are creating a simple calculator in Python. We'll walk through a basic calculator program that performs addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division using only user input and if-else statements. Let's dive in. First, we start by displaying a menu for the user to choose an operation. Prompt the user to enter their choice. Next, we check if the user's choice is valid using an if-else statement. If the choice is valid, we ask the user to input two numbers for the calculation. Another set of if-else statements to perform the corresponding arithmetic operation based on the user's choice. If the user inputs an invalid choice, we display an error message. And that's it. You've just created a simple calculator in Python. This program takes user input for the operation and numbers, performs the calculation, and displays the result. Feel free to modify and expand upon this basic program to add more features or handle more complex calculations. If you have any question or confusion, please feel free to ask in comments sections, or you have a specific program code which you want to learn or understand, can mention too. User input. The program uses the input function to prompt the user to enter something. If else statement, the isDigit method checks if the input is a positive integer. For negative integers, it checks if the input starts with a and the remaining part is digits. If block, if the input is valid, it converts the input to an integer and prints a confirmation message. Else block, if the input is not a valid integer, it prints an error message. Thanks for watching. I hope you understood user input function in Python in this tutorial. Please practice user input function and let me know if you have any question on this. You can write your question in comments section and I'll be happy to answer and explain you further. Please don't forget to subscribe our channel so that you will not miss any Python learning lecture. Thanks and see you in the next video.